Now you may wonder, how is the Atma connected to Ishvara? Now channeling or understanding this Atma is two-pronged. When we direct this love or bhakti's love inwards, it is called Atma Bhakti. And when we channel this love, this awareness, to find it as if it is the spirit of this whole universe, so it's all pervading, then we call it Ishvara Bhakti. But Ishvara and Atma is one. Initially, for seekers, it is easier to identify with Ishvara, non-dual, but as an all-pervading entity, because their ego is so alive, so they feel like, oh, I'm so dirty, I'm so tainted, I'm so unworthy. How can I be Ishvara? That's the question. So it's easier to locate Ishvara in the sun and the moon and the stars and the earth. And gradually, as one's mental conceptions, even the good, bad, ugly, everything is neti neti. This is it's just a mental gymnastics. And that pure river of awareness is there, untainted for millions of lifetimes. And you touch it. Then you're able to move inwards towards Atma Bhakti. So the goal of non-dual bhakti is to take you from mental gymnastics of bhakti towards pure Ishvara Bhakti, formless, nameless, and then towards Atma Bhakti, self-love of that self, which is not just the ego self, but you understand, the one self. That is why non-dual bhakti is not very much appreciated by the priests and the teachers and the cults and the traditions, because they feel that it is a direct attack on their gods and their goddesses and their temples and their mosques and their churches. How dare they? How dare they undo the gods? This is the beauty of the Vedic tradition. It doesn't undo. When you were in kindergarten, you loved your teddy bear, and now you're a 20-year-old. So that teddy bear, you don't have to trash it, but that teddy bear can be a sweet possession in your life, which was a very wonderful prop for you to become this successful 20-year-old. In the same way, Dasya Bhakti, Sakha Bhakti, or Sakhya Bhakti, Vatsalya Bhakti, or mother-child, mother Bhakti, Madhurya Bhakti. Bhaktis are all stepping stones for us towards the Shantam Bhava. Not in a given day, in one day. Sometimes I employ all 5 bhavas. When I am teaching to you, then I am teaching the great master through you. I'm serving. I'm in Dasya Bhava. I'm a servant to Ishvara. My hands were hurting due to typing, so I talked to Saraswati and I said, Ma, I will dedicate to you so and so. I made a sankalpa to her that I will write this for the service of humanity. Can you help me out here? Can you take care of my pain? And she did. Overnight, the pain disappeared. And it has not come back. I find her as a friend. Like, can you look out for me? I know I'm overusing my joints a bit here, but can you please? When I nurture the plants, the flowers, the grasses, the young people, the vulnerable souls in my life, I see God as a child, something I can nurture. And sometimes when I am scared, I seek to Ma Durga as her child. So now that is Vatsalya Bhava. And when my relationship with my own life partner was going through a turbulent time, I saw Ishwara in my partner. To say, surely you are the power within my husband causing for disruptions or disharmony. May this become harmonious. Show me the way. And I was, and I have a beautiful relationship. So the point here is that these are all useful bhaktis. But where does the culmination occur of bhakti? Where I realize that love which never changes, that love which does not change with my feelings or my experiences or circumstances, that it always is, and therefore bhakti always is. Whether it is flowing outwards towards nameless, faceless Ishvara, or towards inwards towards nameless, faceless Atma, that state of love is there. Similarly, Atma is known for not only unassailable or uncorruptible love, but also for unassailable peace, Shanti. Not the kind of peace that we experience after great effort. I don't feel peace in this urban situation of my life, so I must drive 10 miles every weekend to a natural retreat, a forest retreat, and then I'm peaceful. And in case something was happening there, like they were building a fence or something, then your peace got corrupted again, and then you had to travel another 12 miles to some park. So it's a very brittle and fragile peace that we have in the mind, and we have to wrestle for it. That the peace of Atma is unassailable. That is the Shantam. So when we say Shantam Bhava, we are bringing into it three qualities: peace, the cultivation of that peace, the recognition of that uncorruptible peace, inviolable love, and finally, bliss. And bliss is not ha 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 ha. Bliss is a state of deep well-being, a deep okayness, a deep wholeness despite up and down in circumstances. And the person who is the practitioner of Shantam Bhava Bhakti or Advaita Bhakti or nondual Bhakti, we understand that cultivating a reverence for that self, which is universal and personal but one, which is the state of unalloyed love, bliss, and peace, that is bhakti. So whether we chant kirtan or not, whether we do the mala or not, if we can have the knowledge, and knowledge is not enough, if we can have the purity of the mind to keep that knowledge and to meditate on that awareness, this becomes bhakti for some of us. And talking about all the ways I connected with the divine allness, Shantam Bhava is the ultimate flowering of your teacher's bhakti. This is where the love within me, which is my source, the peace which is my source, and the bliss which is my source, then comes out to bless me and bless you. This peace, this love, this bliss need not be announced. And it has an effect on those who are near you, physically or virtually, because they feel fractions of it within themselves, because it's a reminder that Ishvara dwells within them too. Paramatma, Paramatma, Param, you must know this word in Sanskrit, means supreme. Paramatma and your Atma, Jiva Atma, Jiva means person. Jiva Atma and Paramatma are one. So another criticism of Advaita Bhakti, which you must know because you might read up here and there, might be that, oh, they are all just narcissists loving themselves. It is not true. So much teaching, so much explanation, so much purification takes place before we make announcements that the Atma within you and the Atma of the universe is one. We are not saying that your ego little self is the same as God. We're not saying that. But those are just some criticisms at a shallow level that occur for Advaita. So constantly being conscious of the love, the bliss, and the peace capacity of your source, and to cultivate that, how? Through satsang and through sadhana, is then the path of this bhakti. So, Ishvara. I've already dwelled many times on Ishvara, but I will remind you again that Ishvara is not some local power, but it is the universal power. Ishate iti Ishvara, that which dwells in every bit and bite of this living and non-living, visible and invisible multiverse universe and beyond. That is equally operating inside an ant, and it is also operating in the Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva principle. It is operating in Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati. What to say of you? So it is equally present. You see, when we talk about infinity, size doesn't matter. What is inside a particle of sand? Infinity. And what is in the multi-universe? Infinity. Size doesn't matter now. For this power, this infinite power. It is equally powerful. Its power doesn't get compromised by the size of the container. Just like infinity cannot become finite just because it's inside an ant. It will still stay infinite. So it is operating outside, it is operating inside, it is operating upside, downside, this side, that side, everywhere. We call it higher power just to separate it from our everyday conversations of mechanical power, electrical power, ego power, political power, but it's not higher as in beyond. It's still very much here and everywhere. Ubiquitous, not local. Universal, not just personal. All pervading. Not just minimal. Transcendent yet imminent. That is Ishvara. And as a result, it is present within us as our own Atma. Ishvara, Paramatma, is present within us as Atma. And what are its blessings? Love, peace, bliss. Mind becomes happy very quickly, it becomes irritated, it becomes happy when it is chanting, it's not happy when it's not chanting, or the mother-in-law walked in and your chanting was interrupted. Oh, all that is okay for beginners. But when you are blissful no matter what, many great saints, Ramakrishna Paramahansa had cancer. He was in a state of bliss. Ramana Maharshi had cancer, was in a state of bliss. The body is decaying, it is doing its dharma. I am doing my dharma. I am being my dharma. The Atma's dharma of being in bliss. When my Baba, my Guru, our Guru, was in his last moments, some of you know this, he sat in lotus position. His heart was failing at that moment. He must have been in pain, but his face and his eyes were lit up with joy. And he was chanting Om with such amazing intonation. And his eyes, which were bluish gray, were just lit up as if there was darshan. What's happening here? Where is this bliss coming from in a treacherous moment? From within. This is Shantam Bhava. So in Shantam Bhava, we take this awareness. How do we build it? We build this awareness of Atma. Shantam Bhava Bhakti is not, it's not something you can have a discussion with the ordinary person from the Indian subcontinent. They will say, what is this Shantam Bhava? Either I know Ganesha Bhakti or Shiva Bhakti. So Christians you talk to, I only know Mother Mary and Jesus. So for them, form and name is very important it is the start and the end of their bhakti. But in the Upanishadic Vedic tradition, we have now gone into awareness. But initially, that awareness is not easy to find because the mind is so clouded and cluttered. Hence, we have, we purify our food, we purify our living space, we purify our relationships, we detach a little from everything so that we can experience this pure awareness without all the vasanas or the clingy desires and the controls and the repetitive thought patterns. So it's a whole Gyan Yoga path, which I have to some extent already recently unfolded in my 6-verse teaching of Nirvana Shatakam, which is now available for all of you on YouTube. And also, I'm currently teaching a 31-verse composition called Bhaj Govindam, which helps us. What is it doing? It's helping us purify, do neti neti. This is not important, this is not important, this is not important, this. So that what we are left with is is the important thing. So we have to let go of conceptions of love, peace, and happiness to experience the spirit love, spirit peace, and spirit bliss. So we want to be cultivating this, like I said, 2 ways. In Gyan Yoga, we talk more about Atma Bhakti, like I said. But in Bhakti Yoga, Atma Bhakti is preceded by Ishwara Bhakti. So we look at that same self within as the all-pervading power. It's just a little easier. That's why Bhakti Yoga is still a little easier and it is more of a beginning yoga, whereas Gyan Yoga is a culmination yoga. So for those of you students who studied Nirvansha to come with me for the first time or Bhaj Govindam and you are getting insights, I mean, you're clearly continuing some studies from a previous lifetime.